Part of what I'm trying to do in this course is to bring a type of critical awareness around issues of race, sexuality, class, gender. We're primarily focusing on the course through a critical race lens, because that's something that we don't talk about a lot, and trying to encourage students to start looking, seeing, paying attention, asking questions. Who's absent? Why? There's just so much happening in the world to draw on, right? I'm thinking about how race is taken up in the upcoming Canadian elections. That's something that we're not talking about, but I'm very conscious of the fact that, for example, the Canadian political landscape is not attracting a lot of women. It's not attracting women of color. It's not attracting people of color. It's not attracting Indigenous people. And I think it's something that's so normal. We don't think about who's absent in these big political projects. I'm thinking about the missing and murdered Aboriginal women. There's some other types of critical questions that we need to ask ourselves as Canadians. We don't think about how colonialism or race or the way that those women are constructed play a role in why they are absent, geography, those sorts of things, how the landscape is organized to exclude certain people. So we think about these things as accidental. I don't think that they are. So these are the sorts of things I'm going to be asking students to consider from a political perspective, sociological perspective. I'm looking at how race shapes geography, how we move in this space, how race organizes the space in which we live, what implications does it have for who gets jobs. There's a lot of talk about the millennials and what's happening to them, and coming out with high rates of student debt. So I'm trying to make the course as contemporary as possible to appeal to what I think students are really interested in. How does race and gender shape the kinds of careers they're able to have? It's about asking people to think through where we begin the conversation. We all have a responsibility to take that very, very seriously, right? I mean, one of the things I want people to think about in this course is what responsibilities do new immigrants or immigrants like me have in relation to thinking about the land that we occupy? We're not going anywhere. We're all here. So what do we do with these stories? What kind of nation do we want to have now that we know? Nobody can say that we don't know, right? We can't claim ignorance anymore. But do we hear these stories and go back to our lives, or do we take them up and try and do something productive with them? I would say that there are experiences that we all have. We all have families. We all have friends. We all have conversations about race. And we have conversations about race when we think no one's listening. People bring things to the classroom that they may not even be aware of. And part of my role is to facilitate discussions about those things. If they're thinking of going into politics or law or economics, how do you challenge those normative ways that these things are thought about, are taught, or done? And if you take a course like this and other courses that we offer in women's studies, what responsibility do you have to translate what you learn into something substantial? Contemporary topics in critical race studies, it's really essential to how we think about our role in the world, in whatever it is that we plan to do. Everybody should take not just this course, but all of our courses. So anyone who doesn't have the prerequisites for this course need to speak to our undergraduate chair, Dr. Wendy Pearson. But other than that, it's open.